If you talk to yourself, congratulations, you're not losing your mind. You're using it better than 95% of the population. Scientists have discovered something that will change how you see yourself forever. Let's address the elephant in the room. You talk to yourself. Maybe you do it out loud. Maybe it's a constant internal dialogue. Or maybe you catch yourself having full conversations with nobody else around. And society has made you feel like this is a sign of madness. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Talking to yourself is one of the most powerful indicators of advanced intelligence. Research from the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology reveals something extraordinary. People who talk to themselves don't just think differently, they think better. Dr. Gary Lupian from the University of Wisconsin-Madison conducted groundbreaking studies showing that self-talk actually enhances cognitive performance, improves focus, and accelerates problem-solving abilities by up to 20%. Let me explain what's really happening in your brain. When you verbalize your thoughts, you're not just thinking, you're creating a feedback loop that strengthens neural pathways. You're essentially giving your brain a second processor. While everyone else is trapped in one stream of consciousness, you're running parallel processing systems. You're debugging your own thoughts in real time. Think about the greatest minds in history. Einstein talked to himself constantly. Tesla had elaborate conversations with himself while designing his inventions. Steve Jobs was famous for pacing and talking through problems alone. These weren't eccentric quirks. These were cognitive tools that gave them an unfair advantage. Here's where it gets fascinating. Neuroscientists have discovered that self-talk activates the brain's prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for complex planning, decision-making, and personality expression. When you talk to yourself, you're literally exercising the most advanced part of your brain. You're doing mental weightlifting, while everyone else is sitting on the cognitive couch. But there's more. Psychologists identify several types of self-talk, and each serves a different purpose. Instructional self-talk helps you navigate complex tasks. That's why you talk yourself through cooking recipes or assembling furniture. Motivational self-talk boosts your confidence and resilience. Athletes use this constantly. And problem-solving self-talk, that's pure genius at work. You're externalizing internal conflicts, examining them from multiple angles, and finding solutions that would remain invisible if they stayed locked in your head. Studies from Bangor University show that people who engage in self-talk demonstrate superior memory retention. When you verbalize information, even to yourself, you're encoding it through multiple channels: auditory, linguistic, and cognitive. You're creating redundant memory pathways, which means you remember things better and longer than people who just think silently. Let's talk about emotional regulation. Research published in Emotion Journal reveals that people who use self-talk, especially in third person, show remarkable emotional control. When you say you can handle this, instead of I can handle this, you create psychological distance from stress. You become both the person experiencing the emotion and the person coaching through it. You're your own therapist, and it works. Here's something most people don't realize. That internal dialogue you have, it's not random, it's your brain's quality control system. You're constantly testing ideas, rehearsing conversations, planning strategies, and evaluating decisions. While others stumble through life reacting to everything, you're running simulations. You're living in multiple timelines simultaneously, the present moment and several possible futures. Clinical psychologists have found that healthy self-talk is a sign of strong metacognition, the ability to think about thinking. You're not just experiencing your thoughts, you're analyzing them, judging them, improving them. This is consciousness at its highest level. This is self-awareness that most people will never achieve. But society tries to shame this ability. They tell you it's weird. They say it's a sign of loneliness or mental instability. They're wrong. Studies show that people who talk to themselves are typically more self-reliant, more introspective, and more emotionally intelligent. You don't need constant external validation because you have a robust internal dialogue system. You can be alone without being lonely because you're never truly alone. You have the most interesting conversation partner always available: yourself. Let me tell you what really separates you from the crowd. While others need to process thoughts with friends, therapists, or support groups, you've developed the ability to be your own sounding board. You can work through problems at 3 a.m. when nobody else is available. You can make decisions without waiting for external input. You're psychologically independent in a world of dependent thinkers. Neuroscience research from the Max Planck Institute shows that self-talk isn't just normal, it's necessary for optimal brain function. Children who engage in self-talk develop better executive function skills. Adults who maintain this practice show enhanced creativity, better emotional regulation, and superior problem-solving abilities. You haven't held on to a childhood habit, you've maintained a cognitive superpower. Here's the beautiful part. Every time someone overhears you talking to yourself and gives you that look, they're revealing their own limitation, not yours. They're uncomfortable because they don't understand that you're operating on a different cognitive level. You're thinking in multiple dimensions while they're stuck in one. And let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, talking to yourself can be a sign of mental illness, but only when combined with other symptoms. If you're just verbalizing thoughts, working through problems, or thinking out loud, you're not showing signs of disorder. You're showing signs of advanced cognitive processing. The difference is night and day, but people love to conflate them because it makes them feel better about their own limitations. Research from Harvard shows that self-talk improves performance in high-pressure situations. When athletes verbalize their strategy, when surgeons talk themselves through procedures, when programmers explain code to themselves, they all perform better. You're not crazy for talking to yourself during stressful moments. You're using a proven psychological technique that enhances performance under pressure. The truth is, your brain is a complex system, and sometimes the best way to understand a complex system is to verbalize its processes. You're not talking to yourself because you're lonely or unstable. You're talking to yourself because you understand something profound. Language is a tool for thinking, not just for communicating with others. So the next time someone catches you talking to yourself and looks at you like you're strange, remember this: you're not crazy. You're using your brain the way it was designed to be used. You're not losing your mind, you're mastering it. You're not weird, you're operating at a cognitive level they haven't reached yet. Keep talking to yourself. It's not a sign of madness, it's a sign of genius. Comment "I talk to myself" if you've been caught having a full conversation with yourself and you're not even embarrassed about it anymore. Let's